a good one.
I love the way how it came up and then just did nothing. I was like, that's helpful.
That came up first time round.
Yeah, it did.
Because Ellen's watching it live.
First time you are live on the first try. We are live, apparently, so that's good.
Don't you
my
just
one was
love
lagging.
technology?
Yeah, my one on my end was just lagging away. It was so great.
Yep. Technology is wonderful.
I absolutely love technology. It's so great. Okay,
well, good evening, everybody. Hi, Nicola, and anybody else that is watching with us tonight. This is part one of many. This is going to be classed as Getting to Know Your Team stream, where we will be introducing you to team members. And tonight's team members are Josh and Kim, mother and son.
Hello.
Based in location unknown, so we don't have anybody stalking them.
Yes.
And basically, throughout the course of this live stream, we're going to be asking them various questions about the paranormal field and the work they do. And obviously, they are members of our team. That come out with us live on location. They are also co-directors, along with myself and my partner Ellen, with Haunted Roses Essex Paranormal Group, which are a live event team going out to location with the public and allowing the public to experience the paranormal themselves. So we have some very interesting questions to ask you guys. So good evening and thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you feeling?
Nervous.
Oh, bit nervous.
You get used to it after a while, trust me. You will get used to it.
Yeah. So it's fun when you get used to it.
Yeah. It's not this. Obviously, it's not the same as when we're on location and we're filming, because you're walking around doing what you have to do, and you're not so much aware of the camera. Obviously, this is a different situation where you're actually going to be speaking and answering questions. So it's not the norm, but you get used to it after a while. So we're going to start the question sort of straight away. I'm going to ask that sort of, how long have the pair of you been into the paranormal? So we'll direct it first at Kim.
I've been doing it about 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
I love the paranormal.
Okay, and Josh?
I've just recently started doing it about a year ago.
Yeah, about a year.
Right, so it's about a year for you, Josh, and about 5 for you, Kim. And what sort of actually got you interested in working in the paranormal field?
What, you talking to me?
Well, it's directed at both of you, but you can go first, Kim.
I've always had that sixth sense. I've always known that there is something else there, and I decided to start exploring that, which has helped me become more involved.
And it's sort of with your sixth sense then, so doing the investigations has helped you to sort of like boost the ability or work on that ability a little bit more.
Yeah, it's helped me sense when spirit's near. Definitely.
Cool. And Josh?
And I'm roughly the same as Kim. I've kind of always sort of known about something, and which I've got obviously my mum to thank for that, of passing that down to me. But it can be a bit strange at times, but learning to cope with it.
So would you say part of your interest, Josh, into the paranormal has sort of come passed down because your mum's interested in the paranormal, doing investigations, so you sort of, that's sort of swayed you into doing it as well?
Yeah, that, as well as my abilities with the spirits of sensing as well.
Okay. So now, obviously, like I said before, that both you and your mum are co-directors along with myself and Ellen. And how is that experience sort of helped you working in the paranormal field?
I personally think it's brilliant because you get to be yourself with no gimmicks, no fakery, no anything like that. And you can control the fact that there is nothing untoward going on.
Okay.
And it is a passion for me, the paranormal field. So I really enjoy
definitely.
it. Yeah.
Josh?
Yeah, practically the same. Like you get to know, obviously, that we're not, because there's no fakery about it when it's actually you doing it yourself. So
yeah, I think that's also one of the most important parts, isn't it? Is that when we go out filming for Truth Beyond Paranormal, we're just on the location filming and doing a live feed at the same time. Whereas with the events, we're off out with the public.
Yeah.
So they come and join us, but they're in charge of the investigation and we just help them when it's needed or guide them when it's needed. So it sort of helps.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, that's brilliant, that is. So we're going to go on a bit of a tangent there. We've got a Facebook saying, "Hi, nice to meet you." Who are you, Facebook user?
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm just watching. We had Abby Florence, we had Giles Wilson, we had Claire Beck. Deza is watching as well. Hi, Deza. We have Nicola, we have Ellie, we have Sharon, and we also, do we have anyone else? Oh, and of course we have Ellen. So,
we'd like to say, anybody, if you haven't signed on to StreamYard, it would be good if you could, because then it helps us know who you are. Because at the moment it comes up as Facebook user. It would be interesting to find out on the census whether there is such a person with the name Facebook user.
Could you imagine? They just sign up, they're like, my name is Facebook.
Pay £25 and change it by deed poll to Facebook user.
Deza said that he shared this around just to let you know as well. So thank you very much, Deza, for doing that.
Thank you, Deza.
And thank you, Nicola and Ellie and Claire and Giles and Abby for watching so far as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, so another question we have is, what is your favourite bit of equipment? And it doesn't matter whether it's new technology or old school technology.
Me?
Kim first. Yep.
Dowsing rods. Definitely the dowsing rods.
Any particular reason?
They actually work with me.
Yeah.
When they move, it can be a bit freaky. But I think it's, as long as the camera is showing your hands and that you're not moving, so you're not manipulating those rods. And those rods move. Well,
I mean, this is like we were saying with Rougham Control Tower, wasn't it? With the guy Jack Fryer that came through.
Yeah.
If my mum is watching right now, Claire Beck, if you're here, just say hello. But we were just talking, when I was talking with my family, we were just talking about Jack Fryer and the Navigator before we came on here. So this now confirms it for her. And
the experience itself was very bizarre, because to have Dowsing Rods move in a yes-no fashion of opening for yes, closing for no, and getting this Navigator from a bomber come through and actually point the Dowsing Rods to a piece of equipment that was on his aircraft.
Yeah.
Having those answers come through is one thing, but then to find out afterwards, half an hour later, for two members of the team to go walking into another room that nobody had been in at all during the course of the evening and find the picture of Jack Fryer, who was a navigator on that particular bomber, was, that was just unbelievable, because that sort of thing you would do if you did research beforehand. The planes that lost, any of the occupants of the bombers or whatever that had died in action, things like that. If you'd already researched it, you could fake it, but we hadn't done any research, and we hadn't even been in that particular room, and there's no other mention of Jack Fryer anywhere in the control tower.
No, nowhere. And just to let you guys know, whoever's watching right now as well, Wayne himself had never ever been to the Ruffin control tower. Neither had I, neither had Ellen. So for Ellen to find that, for Wayne to find that, and then Ellen to find it at two different separate times when they've never been there, we never research anything before we go to our locations, was it very strange. Very strange indeed. Yeah, that was the thing as well. I was on the journey up there. Ellen was also getting a name beginning with J or G, and that was before we'd even arrived at Ruffin. So, to actually have that come through in the first part of the investigation, and then half an hour later to get his name come through as well, by then walking into the room and finding an actual picture of him. And that was all because of the Dowsing Rods.
Yeah. They're a good bit of kit, they are.
Yeah. Josh, your favourite?
My favourite is myself. And
very, very good answer. Very good answer.
Really weird, but my favourite equipment is myself, because then part of what I do is they show me videos in my head on how they may have died or what has happened to them during their life leading up to their death, which obviously I trust, because in Ruffin I had a very interesting experience when I was up in the control tower on a separate investigation, and that was very weird, and that's when I first discovered about my abilities.
One of the things which I noticed that Josh was getting as well, he tends to also get the feelings that they have when they pass as well. I noticed that you felt sick and stuff, and you were like, please take that off of me.
Yeah.
So he was definitely picking up on stuff.
And if, they're upset, then I start feeling upset too, and it's a very emotional roller coaster of what I can do.
That feeling when spirit makes you feel sick, I think is awful. It's horrible.
Oh, I hate it. And I had, me having that for 6 odd years was just, I was like, please leave me alone. I've had enough. No more.
Yeah, I think if you're open to spirit, then it can affect you in different ways. And I have a spirit that follows me around, and it's been around for 20 years now. And I know when she's about, because I get a headache, technically, at the back of my head.
Yeah.
Now, whenever I normally get headaches, my headaches are usually on the temples or the very front.
Yeah.
I always get the headache at the back when she's around, and 9 times out of 10, after that headache is gone, something gets moved or something happens nearby to me that lets me know she's there. Yeah. So, and it's like we said before, the best equipment you could ever have is your eyes and your ears, along with something to record what you're doing. So a video camera. So it doesn't have to be an expensive camera or a all singing and all dancing night vision heat thermal camera whoopie doo toaster type camera. You don't need them. As long as you get that experience and you take something with you that could possibly identify or record what you've experienced, that's really all you need. But definitely, like yourself as equipment, whether you're open to spirit or not, your own eyes and ears are always sort of the best.
Definitely.
Non-technological method, and dowsing rods are brilliant. I love dowsing rods myself, so I agree with Kim on that one as well. So
completely.
Cool. I like them answers. Right now, where I'm going to swap it round now. I'm going to go straight to Josh this time. What was your first location that you investigated?
Can't actually remember. Mum, do you know?
Harwich.
It was Harwich. Yeah, Harwich was Harwich that was a interesting one too, because as soon as I
go on.
Oh, because as soon as I got there, then I was instantly shown on how someone died, and it was really awful to be walking around feeling that. But
yeah, and for it to be your first investigation as well, to sort of walk into a place and get that sort of experience straight away, I suppose in a way it took you by shock or by surprise?
Both, because I wasn't expecting it.
You're like,
I wasn't expecting it on my first time. It was like, yeah, okay.
I mean, you get loads of people that will go on an investigation. They could go on dozens of investigations and never really experience them.
Never hear or see anything.
So, to walk into a place on your first investigation and actually get a replay of how someone died, you know,
amazing.
Come to you like that, that's pretty good. And your first location, Tim?
My first location?
Yeah, the first location you investigated.
I think that was Pontefract. The Black Monk House, 30 East Drive.
30 East Drive. Oh wow.
Yeah.
And didn't you go with other teams before then?
No, I've been there twice, but I know.
Oh, you've been twice.
Yeah, 2 different teams. Yeah.
I don't think I'd have gone to that one as my first investigation.
No, the first one. I wish I hadn't.
Yeah. I never really rate East Drive, to be honest.
There is definitely something there.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely something there, but I don't think. Yeah, I just don't think there is as much there as it's been made out.
No, it's not as active as a certain thing has made it out to be. No, I agree there. That's true.
Well, I would say it was the producers, because it's the production company that made the film When the Lights Go Out, wasn't it? Was it When the Lights Go Out or the other one?
Yeah, Lights Out made it into something more than it was.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you've got a film comes out about a certain subject, it's like we've said before about Ouija boards. You know, Ouija boards are invented as a child's toy. They then get glamorized by Hollywood, but they get glamorized in the wrong way. And so people are dead set against them, thinking that they're evil, nasty objects, when they're not. They're based as a toy and a form of communication.
Yeah.
So, of course, when the production company brought the house and they produced the film, swarms of people are like, oh, I'd like to go and investigate there. And, of course, the production company have gone, hello, plenty of money coming in now. Pays for itself. And so because people have seen the film, they instantly think that the level of activity is going to be high and it's going to happen every time you go there. And
that's the same as anyone, though, that joins a public event. They go on location and they expect it to be all guns blazing, tables going over, knives and forks being thrown. But the reality is, It's not like that. Sometimes you'll get some activity, and other times it'll be flat. If spirits don't want to engage with you, then they won't.
Yeah, and it's also like with the amount of energy that's in the area.
Yeah.
You know, if you're near, the location is near ley lines, and there's plenty of people there that are giving their energy, and then you're most likely to have something happen. But it's not guaranteed. But when people sort of they look on Facebook and various places to do these paranormal investigations, they go, "Oh, that place, that's haunted." And as soon as you say the word haunted, they think there's a ghost there that lives there and appears to order.
Yeah, no, they come and go.
You know, and then some people they go on these investigations, they spend a whole night there and don't get anything, and they feel disappointed that they haven't actually seen or heard anything.
Yeah, and then they give the reviews and stuff, don't they? They give the reviews and they put them out there of like, you know, nothing happened, it's all a bunch of poo, basically. And it's like, well, unfortunately,
it's hit and miss.
You can spend a whole night trying to do an investigation and get absolutely nothing, which is why TBP shows that as well. Because if we get nothing, that's what you're going to see. You know.
You know, we could be wandering. We could be wandering.
Us too.
I mean, we could be wandering around the dark for 3 hours and not get anything on a live stream.
No, and the only thing you'll get is me falling down a hole. That's all you get the whole night.
But it's the viewer's choice as to whether they want to watch those 3 hours of us doing nothing but watching you fall down a hole.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I can do it again if you want. You know, just over and over replay.
So, you know, it's as broad as it is long, to be honest. But you won't get stuff happening straight away. You won't get it at every location. We got Facebook user says, "Wow, I did once. Did you feel burning before noticing, or did you just notice it afterwards?"
Where was this?
Who's that aimed at?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say who it was.
That was from Deza. Deza, who is that for, and what is it about? And then we'll be able to respond, of course. Sorry, Deza. It may have come through a little bit late or something, maybe.
No, he still comes through as Facebook user on mine, so he hasn't signed up to StreamYard.
Yeah. We had an Andy Webster that came through as well. So Andy Webster was talking a little bit, and also there was another person. Who else said hello? There was another person that said hello earlier.
I must admit, though, Nicola Hurrell's comment, I got scratched on my first investigation. That sort of thing is what I absolutely love. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered about
that was it. And Nikki Emmons has come in as well to say hello, team.
Hello.
Hi, Nikki. Ah, right. Deza said he was replying to Nicola.
He was replying to Nicola, who had said, I got scratched on my first investigation.
Yeah. Sorry. Right. Anyway. Okay. So, Josh, what is your favourite location that you have investigated so far?
My favourite location would be Ruthven Air Control Tower. Yeah, that's my favourite.
And that will be that was when we did the event and filmed for the episode there, wasn't it? Would it be that particular incident?
No, my particular incident was on a different investigation.
Wow. So you've had more than one experience at Ruthven Control Tower on two separate occasions, or more than two separate occasions.
Yeah, I have.
Brilliant. And Kim?
I've got to say Landguard Fort.
I've never been there.
Can I ask as to why Landguard is your favourite?
Because there's tunnels there.
Okay.
You can go right deep into the tunnels. And I got, I'd say, about 200 yards into the tunnel. And I couldn't go any further. And something was telling me, get out. And I turned around and went to exit as quick as I could. And this Spirit was right behind me, literally chased me out of that tunnel.
Oh,
Yeah.
A similar sort of experience I had down at Fort Widley. I'd gone down there. I'd got a box of equipment, and the rest of the team were walking ahead of me. And we got to an intersection, and there was a spiral staircase that led up to the parade ground above us. And they asked if I could stay there with the equipment box, and they would go down to the other end of this tunnel. And they would stop at the end, and they would say something back, and I would have to let them know if I could hear them or not. So they've walked off down there, got to the bottom, and they've turned around with the torch. Now I've seen the torchlight, and they whispered something, and just as they whispered that, there was this almighty bang behind me, like somebody else had come down with another equipment box and threw it on the floor. And I turned, no one's there, nothing is there apart from me with the box in my hand. And I'm like, nah, I'll go down there. I think I'll join up with the others.
You're like, bye-bye.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're standing in a tunnel complex in the dark, and all you've got is the rest of your teams with their torch down the other end of a quarter of a mile of tunnel. It's a hell of a long distance. And then when something like that goes off behind you, that is the last thing you expect. So I'm like, yeah, I think I might join up with the rest, and started walking down. So, of course, as I'm walking down, they're walking back. But it makes you wonder what makes things like tunnels so intriguing. Because I found that with a lot of people love things that have got areas that have got underground tunnels in, or rooms without no windows, or with bars in.
Yeah.
You know, old like Landguard Fort and Harrods Redoubt Fort. They're old Napoleonic forts.
Yeah.
And they show their age.
The cells that the witches were meant to have been held in Colchester Castle.
Yeah.
There's no lights in there.
Oh, we got a Facebook user says, I remember Fort Widley.
I think that was Nikki Emmons. She said she remembers Fort Widley.
Funny old place that was.
And Deza says Fort Paul is like that. It was brilliant. So Deza says that there's another fort that's very similar.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
So we got your favourite location. Now, is there a location that you would love to keep going back to? Not just because of its location, say like because it's only up the road, but a favourite location that you would go back to time and time again?
Yeah, who, me or Josh?
Yeah, Kim, you can start.
Harwich. Definitely.
Yeah, Harwich is a good one. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't.
I was quite shocked.
Yeah, and
Spirit in the cells doesn't like women, and I like to go in there and antagonise him.
The spirit in the cell doesn't like women. That don't say a lot for me, does it?
No, but he hates women.
After having that mannequin thrown at me in that cell.
Oh, no.
That's not saying much about me, is it?
It must be a secret woman.
Did you scream like a girl?
A secret woman. Oh.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
But yeah, I mean, Harrods Redoubt Fort itself, I mean, what an amazing place. And it's only featured on a TV show once.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was amazed at that chapel. And you said that chapel has never been open to the public before. We got to go in there, and that weird thing that we got from in there when we were hearing horse hooves going up and down.
That was really weird.
What was that about?
That episode is on YouTube, isn't it?
Yes, that's up on there. If you guys look up Truth Beyond Paranormal, Harrods Redoubt Fort, it will come up on there. And you guys will be able to witness what we did.
Yeah, there is a number of episodes on the YouTube channel. So you just click onto that, and if you want to subscribe and get the notifications when we've completed a new episode, then you're more than welcome to. But Harrods itself, you know, for a 211-year-old building,
Yeah.
it's
Amazing.
certainly worth its weight in gold. And I'm just surprised that it hasn't featured in sort of the bigger mainstream ghost investigation programs instead of these silly ones where you've got the celebrity guests running around in Ghostbuster outfits,
good God,
looking complete dorks.
Yeah.
You know, it
the
sort of
paranormal field, that type of thing. I don't like
yeah,
it.
yeah, it does, and it's a shame because the likes of Harrods Redoubt Fort is well worth the attention.
Yeah.
So, where would your repeat location be then, Josh?
My repeat would be again Ruthven Air Control Tower, because it's just so interesting to me, and I get a lot of stuff happen. So
Yeah, I mean, I think when I mean, obviously I've done Harwich, must be 8 or 9 times now, and I've only done Ruthven once, but Ruthven Control Tower is already up there in the top 3 for me. And I would love to go back there. I could go back there time and time again. I mean, being ex-RAF and going back into the RAF again, there's always been a link with Air Forces. So Ruthven Control Tower is always going to be sort of quite high up on that list.
I agree.
But experience-wise, Harrods Redoubt Fort has got a long way to go before it gets beaten.
Yeah.
Simply because of what happened with me and the mannequin dummy. And it was enough. It was, I mean...
Kim's like, oh, God, do you remember this?
The thing is, though, is what Kim was standing in the 3rd cell along from where I was with another investigator. And the shock from the experience was enough to make that investigator, not that long after that night, quit the paranormal.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were there for that sort of experience, but she said, I'm not here for that. And boom, she was gone, left me standing in the cell on my own.
And she was out of there, wasn't she?
And yeah, she'd shot out there so fast. I couldn't, by the time I turned around, she'd gone. And then Kim and the 2 that were with Kim, they came in as well. And they're like, what's going on? What's going on? And all they got was me standing there holding this mannequin dummy and a head under my foot to stop it from rolling away.
Yeah. Hi, Mick. Yes, it was. It was brilliant.
I can't wait to go back to Ruthven again myself. Because, you know.
Mick was one of the people that was with us that night that actually joined us on the episode as well. And he is now actually part of our team as well, Mick. And he says, so he can confirm that it was a good night at Ruthven. And I agree, because at Ruthven, the episode that we got, I didn't know. Sorry, that keeps coming up. Sorry, guys, I'm going to get rid of that. But yeah, we got stuff come up which we did not hear at the time. So I thought that we didn't get that much during that time. And then when it goes up and when I'm editing, I realize that there is whispering, there are whistles, and there is one whistle in that episode whereby there's a whole tune being played. And then we also got somebody talking, like there was a conversation between 2 people happening when we were actually up in the control tower part as well. So I was a bit taken back by that in that episode, to be fair. I've never ever got EVPs that are that clear ever. And Foxy did warn me and said to me that we would get that, and we did. So I was quite shocked.
I was just really fed up, though. It really upset me that we couldn't get into the control tower itself at the top.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't made aware of that at time of booking. And he didn't tell me that we can't get up there. He just left me the keys.
Yeah, and it was a bit strange, the excuse we were given as well. Because when I consulted another team about it, they turned around and said that was very strange because we were only there 3 weeks ago and we were up there.
Oh.
So
the only thing I can think of is that it was like a sudden sort of thing where they had to close it to the public for some reason. Like it was not like able.
I know it was windy that night, but I don't think it was that windy that it was dangerous.
Wind. Because when I've been there before, it's been wet. The stairs have been wet to get up there. They never closed it off. So I did get quite upset with them for.
Well, yeah, but to turn around and say it was because people were abseiling down the side of the outside and messing up the room. You know, I sort of partly wondered whether it was because it was a trust issue.
But we've been there before. He knows.
Not as Haunted Roses Essex Paranormal to him. That's a whole new group.
As Haunted Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it was a very strange thing. I'm wondering whether because of COVID and everything, maybe they just decided we cannot do this. You know, we've allowed teams to do this and we can't do it now, or something like that. Maybe the government had told them something, or I don't know.
Up front, Sam, and told when I booked it, not leave it, give me the keys, and then bugger off with my money in his pocket. Everyone's money in his pocket, and then we go. That
was very naughty. So basically,
I had to go back and phone him, and he said, "Oh no, you're not allowed up there." I said, "Well, why didn't you tell me that?"
Yeah, because the thing is, so basically, guys, what happened this night is that Kim, Wayne, Josh, and Ellen, they run the TBP events for the public arm, called Haunted Roses Essex Paranormal. And they go out with the public and they investigate with the public there. And those individuals, they pay to be there. And of course, everyone's turned up for the night. Everyone's ready to go. And they have not actually told Kim, who's in charge of the events, that they can't go up into the main area. That's the main area of the location where stuff happens. And you know, we were there as TBP as well to film for that night as well, and we weren't able to get up there. So there's a whole part of that investigation now that we don't have. So it was, you know, they took her money. They took her money. They were happy to take her money, but not tell her everything, which is not very
well.
fair.
They didn't tell us until we turned up on the night, which is a little bit late to say anything.
Yeah, but
you know,
it was. He didn't tell us that we couldn't get into the actual tower.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He didn't let us know that until we got there on the night.
Yeah, we're all there. The plans are all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's there ready to go. It's not on.
Which is wrong when other teams have been up there, and then he turns around and says, because people have been abseiling down it, you're not going up there anymore.
Yeah, it's not.
And then I find out from other teams that they have been up there. That is like a very recent decision to close that area off.
Yeah, so he should have told me, and I felt so bad for everybody that had paid to go, and we couldn't do the main part. I felt awful.
I mean, the good part of that was the fact that because you had to ring him on the night, and you had to do it in front of people. They knew it wasn't your fault and that it was out of your hands.
Yeah, we all knew that it was nothing at all to do with Kim or Haunted Roses Essex Paranormal. They had done their part. It was just literally it was a little bit, again, like when all four of us are, you know, just there and then get caught by the police at bloody Halstead as well. You know?
No, Sam, you have to rephrase that. We didn't get caught by the police because we weren't there illegally. It was because of a breakdown in communication that the night staff hadn't been told we were going to be there. So they called the police. So we didn't get caught. They turned up and found us there.
They turned up because basically the groundsman hadn't told the care home manager that was on that night that we were there. So they turn up and then it's just like, oh, we're not allowed to be here, even though we had permission. So it was just all a little bit. So I get where Kim was coming from there, because I, at that point, then felt like a right douche walking around back to our cars with the police in tow.
But that was the second time. That was the second time we'd been there as well. Because we all popped up there the first time for a recce, and then we went back up for the second time, and that was when the police turned up.
Yeah, we went the first time and got kind of caught by teenagers, and then the second time got caught by police. So that was just great. So
never mind if things were if communication within that place is properly sorted out, then maybe we can return there and actually have a decent investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've already been in contact with a couple of other people that I know from around that area, and they've all said that they have been able to get in there absolutely fine without any problems with permission. So I think I'm going to go through those guys in future to be able to get some a better way of communication with the guys. So we will see what happens there.
Yeah. Okay, well, we keep skewing off a bit, don't we?
Yeah, we always do. We always
do. Hang on, which way we go? Josh, what is or has been your scariest experience on a paranormal investigation?
My scariest would be also probably the first time that I went to the control tower.
Okay, and a description of that experience?
So that was because of the vision that I had of how one of the people had tragically passed away. And that was my first time of actually having visions like that put in my head on how they pass, and it was awful. And it was kind of scary to be witnessing.
Okay, so that was the first time that you'd actually sort of had that vision side of things.
Yeah.
And understandably, that would be quite scary. So now you've obviously had more of those similar style experiences. Are you more sort of accepting of those visions now?
Yeah, I am. I'm more. Yeah, it might happen, it might not happen, but I'm definitely more accepted of that if it does happen again, because now I know what to expect, and it's not suddenly put on me and I'm like, oh, what's this? And being scared of.
Yeah, so you're more attuned to it, and you're used to it now, and it doesn't sit. It's not so much of a shock to you when you go. But do you get any advance warning that this vision's coming, or does it just sort of snap in?
No,
it just snaps in. It's literally like it's hard to explain. It's literally just put into your head, see the vision. Sometimes you feel what they felt as well, and so for me for the first time of having that done, it's pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah, the only thing that I can describe it as is it's kind of like you're walking into a room, because I get it as well, exactly the same as Josh does. It's kind of like you walk into a room and then everything else just disappears and you're just focused. It's like you are that person at that moment in time. It's like you are that person, and you are literally reliving all of that person's pain, their anguish, what they were feeling at that time, how scared they were. Or even if it's a happy moment that they're feeling at the time, you feel it as if it's yourself. And it's almost like you are not your own being at that time. And it feels like your soul is being taken over by something else. But you can feel, I don't know if it's the same with you, Josh, but you can feel that there's it's almost like there's two souls inside you at the same time. Sometimes.
No, that doesn't happen for me. It's literally, I get these visions, and sometimes I feel how they die as well, and it's more of the fact that I'm them in that moment in time, and
you're them in that moment in time. So it's like you're completely that person. Yeah, you see, I sometimes
really strange.
I think I sometimes get it whereby if they are strong enough to completely take me, I say take me over, everybody's going to be like, oh, she gets possessed. No, I don't. It's not like that. I promise I won't be like turning my head round in circles on episodes. I promise. But it's a very strange experience because if they're strong enough, like obviously the ones like Josh is able to feel it strong enough whereby he can literally take hold almost on that person's life at that time, which is amazing. That is such a gift to have. Never lose that gift, Josh, because it is amazing, even though it can be scary and upsetting.
Yeah, I don't plan to.
Yeah, because I get it whereby I can feel like I'm me and I can feel myself still there, but there's someone else trying to sort of like they're trying to creep in slowly into me and try and show me what they were feeling. So I can feel my feelings and theirs at the same time. And then I get confused and a bit weird, which is fun.
You know, me personally, I'm completely shut off from it, and I'm just them in that time, and
that's amazing.
It was daunting the first time.
It's almost like a body swap.
Yeah.
Very similar. Yeah. It's almost like you feel that what they're feeling at that time.
Yeah, you feel what they feel, you see what they see. And
it is like moving pictures. It's like a movie in your mind, isn't it? It's really weird.
Yeah, it's like a movie, but literally without the credits.
Yeah.
Before
without any warning.
Yeah, it's like
and no comfy seats either.
No, most of the time you have to stand up for it.
I know, right?
Well, the last thing you want is to have one of these visions along with with some toffee popcorn and a bottle of Coke or something. So
it just wouldn't feel right.
So, Kim, what has been your most scariest experience?
Oh, there's a couple. One is my dreams. Which plays that, like Josh sees it in his head in the moment, I get it while I'm asleep.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I get shown pictures. Yeah. And talking in my left ear. You can't actually make out what they're saying, but they're having a conversation, which I that does worry me sometimes. I'll be honest, that does worry me. I don't really like that in my ear.
So is it like in a sense like the old cartoon characters where you've got the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, and they're both talking to you at the same time, or is it just sort of two separate entities talking to each other, but you can hear what they're saying?
It's two separate entities talking to each other, but I can't quite make out what they're saying because it's just sort of like out of range for me to actually get clear words.
Yeah, but they're not actually talking to you. They're talking to each other, but not directly at you.
But I hear it in my ear.
But you can hear it, yeah.
With your dreams, Kim, as well, do any of them come true, like later? Yeah, like you see it in your dream, and then something comes true later, and you're like, "Oh God, deja vu." Yeah.
Well, that's more of a form of premonition than deja vu.
But it's horrible because if you wake up, because it seems so real to you at the time, and then they're the only dreams that I remember is these ones. But other dreams I don't really remember at all. And when you wake up and you feel sick and you're looking round and it's like, oh my God. And then when something happens that you've dreamt of a couple of weeks later, and it's like, Jesus Christ. But you don't say it to anyone because you don't want to come across as a complete nutter.
Yeah, you don't tell anybody because you're just like, who's going to be able to take that as a literal fact? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but these brain analysts and psychologists and doctors, they say that the human brain, when it's in deep REM sleep, will have about 1,000 dreams each night, but you only tend to remember the last couple of dreams before you come out of that sleep. Because they're the most vivid replay of whatever. And I get them myself. I will be able to wake up in the morning and I can remember perfectly what I had dreamt up to that point when I woke up.
Yeah.
And in a sense, that's helped me write a lot of my ghost stories Simply by having that dream, I've been able to put it down onto paper. So I now have a notepad by the side of the bed, so that when I wake up in the morning, if I've remembered that dream, it gets noted down quickly.
Yeah.
So I can't forget it. And that can then go, one of the ones I'm doing for my next release, The Journey Home, that has been based solely on a dream that I had. And I literally noted it down. I've also had dreams where eventually, 6 months down the line, as I've been getting these dreams, and it's been the same dream, but just extended a little bit each time I've dreamt it. And it happened possibly 8 or 9 times through the course of 6 months. And then eventually, 6 months later, it actually happened. And it was such a shock to the system, because I'm like, my God, this happened in my dream. I was dreaming about this 6 months ago, and I'd even told my mum that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, it happened. And it was like, oh my God, I hope I don't get that dream again. But since then, I've had similar dreams.
Yeah.
And they've lasted a number of months, and then they've just stopped. And then a couple of months later, something's happened that has almost been spot on identical to that dream.
Yeah, it's very unsettling. It
is, and it's a form of premonition, deja vu, slightly similar, but that's more related to something other than a dream, where you go somewhere that you've never been to before, but you swear blind you have.
Well, you've been there, yeah.
And that's why they try to analyse as to whether it's an experience you've had in a previous life where you've actually been to that location, and there's a little bit of subconscious there that has locked away part of your previous life, and it all of a sudden, you seeing it in person has unlocked that memory from the subconscious, and you've gone, I'm sure I've been down here before.
Yeah.
So I mean getting those voices, that's certainly.
So Mark has had it whereby he dreamed, like Camden, for instance, he dreamed was in a completely steampunk version one year when we were together, and he completely saw that in a dream, and then 2-3 months later we went to Camden and the whole place has been done up as a steampunk festival. And he was like, what? No way, no, it's not coming true, I don't like it. And I was like, it's something coming true. He's like, did I see this? This is weird. It can happen. It's such a weird thing.
Okay, now this next question, it's very similar to your scariest experience, but Josh, what has been the most strangest experience that you've had on an investigation? Something that's made you scratch your head and go, okay, that don't make sense.
What was that about?
Yeah.
I don't actually know. Sounds bad, doesn't it, that I don't actually know?
But it is. I mean, the reason behind the question is that obviously you go out on an investigation, you go into an area and you experience something, but it's straight away what you've just experienced has got, okay, what was that all about? You've looked at all the possible things that it could be, and you rule certain things out, and yet you still sit there going, hang on, that don't make sense. How did that happen?
Oh, I think I know the strangest one that I had was, again, the first time that I went to Rougham. Is that
Rougham seems to be a bit of a hotbed.
It does for me, doesn't it?
That's his one.
But I took a photo of when we was allowed to go, like on a previous investigation, when we was allowed to go up actually into the control tower itself. I took a photo, and you can see in the photo someone, well, just a really scary face, which I can't figure out if there's a camera flare or something totally different, but it does look like a completely scary face, and also you can see, rather strangely, a decapitated guy who's wearing a suit. It had a black blazer on, a white shirt, and you could see the tie, a thin black tie going down, and
Oh,
that
I
was also
remember
very
that.
strange.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the night when I had my first vision there, wasn't it, Mum?
Yeah.
So that's that experience itself has just left you scratching your head, going, well, okay, how has that got on the camera?
Yeah.
Okay, and Kim?
The strangest one, but a lovely one for me, was being stroked, literally stroked on my face. A very gentle stroke from my cheek down.
Okay, and that's normally a positive, calming experience, isn't it, rather than a negative?
It was a very, very nice energy.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
very
yeah.
nurturing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it's trying to comfort you. It's sort of it's almost as if to say it's okay. There's nothing to fear, and it's just gently stroke the side of your face to calm you down.
Yeah, it was just a real stroke, and it
Brilliant.
made me smile. It didn't make me jump or anything like
Yeah.
that. It just made me smile. It made me feel warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it make you more relaxed as well?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
So whatever it was had done that for a purpose. There was a reason behind it.
Perhaps they could sense I was a bit sort of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, it's weird because when I first started doing investigations and public events and things, I was really quite nervous, and sort of behind the scenes when you're standing there and you'd be like, okay, right, we've got to do this, and it'll be right. You need to do the introduction, and then I will do the talk about the tech. And I'd be like, oh, great. So I've got to be the one that stands in front of everybody and go, hello, good evening, or welcome to tonight's investigation at such and such. And being many moons ago, up to 2000, I was in a duet, a band, and I was keyboards and lead vocalist. And I was always told that if you're not nervous before going on stage, it's time to quit. And I can tell you, every time I got up on stage, I was whooping myself.
Yeah.
The other guy in part of the duet, his wife turned around and said, well, take some of these. And they were those herbal calms.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely bloody useless. If anything, they made me 10 times worse. I was quite prepared to run off the stage and go and hide in a cubicle in the toilets. That was how bad it got. But as soon as the music started playing, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, really, because it was 2 Unlimiteds, no limits.
All right.
And the first line was "Yo, ready for this," and it was down to me to say it. So of course I'm standing there. We've played the first chord of the song, and I've gone, "Yo, ready for this," and the curtain opened in front of me, and there was like 200 people sitting right in front of me, and I'm like. Oh,
I've been there.
The trumpets are blowing, but by the time I'd finished that song, I'm thinking I can't embarrass myself any more than I already have.
Yeah,
So
just go for it now.
Just go with it.
There's nothing else to lose.
The nerves went straight out the window. So you know, when you have that experience, it just makes all the difference, and you have to get used to it. So of course, when you go on to doing things like that, the nerves are there. But when something sort of subliminally or comes up beside you and strokes you on your face, like with Kim, that helps to calm you down. And it makes you feel a lot better with yourself and a lot more calmer, and it allows you to push through in that situation, which is what I think is brilliant.
I agree.
Okay, Kim, what was the most funniest experience on an investigation?
Well, I think you know what I'm going to say, Wayne.
I don't know what you're going to say.
Was it you, Wayne? Was it you again? Was it you? Come on.
Well, there's two actually.
It might have been.
When the head fell off the mannequin.
Yeah.
And the boar burger.
Oh, the boar burger. The dreaded boar burger.
I was so upset that I wasn't there to just witness this moment. Like, it seems so fun.
Sorry, Josh, that night with the Hornets.
Yeah, same location.
No, that was awful.
He's like, why are you laughing at my expense?
But the thing was, and the viewers that are watching, we were filming at Dunwich and we'd done a recce. We'd been around all over the place and checked where we were going to film. And we had a break and we decided we were going to go to this local pub. We were going to have something to eat and then we'd start filming. Well, they had boar burgers on the specials menu. So I'm like, I'm having one of those. That was a big mistake because later on at the the remains of the leper chapel in the leper hospital, the boar burger decided it was going to exit and created a rather foul stench. And in our Dunwich episode, it's in the outtakes where I accidentally broke wind and Peter Ling went, "Oh my God, what's that smell?" And I'm honest, I just turned around and said, "I'm sorry, that was me." And that was it. We were in utter hysterics. But earlier on in the evening, we'd been at some Nissan huts, and part of Dunwich was, during the Second World War, was part of the chain low home stations for that area, for the radar systems. And there's only 2 Nissan huts that are still there. Of course, while we were investigating, we get bugged by a hornet. Josh, not quite happy about having this hornet buzzing around. Eh?
We were bugged. No, it was more me. I was the one who was more bugged.
I love Josh. He's so honest. It was not you, it was me.
Well, no, the thing was the hornet was flying around all of us, but it liked Josh.
Yeah, it made beeline for it.
Go away.
It took a shine to Josh, but we're saying to him, calm down, keep calm, don't flap at it, don't panic, because it will just stay there and you'll just make it worse. Because hornets are like that. Hornets and wasps will sting you for the sake of stinging you. Especially if you're going, "Get away!" and doing that. But would Josh listen? No, he wouldn't listen. He was running backwards and forwards and flapping his arms about like he was on fire. Eventually, the hornet got tired and it landed on the ground. And then Peter Fox went splat and squashed it.
And then we heard this loud rumble.
Then we heard this noise, and it was a couple of others decided to descend upon us. So.
But that's when we made a quick exit, didn't we?
So we had to take a dive. So that yeah, I think that was quite funny, and that and the boar burger. The head, yeah, it was funny. It was a funny experience. The head at Harrods Redoubt Fort was a funny experience, but that was unexpected. And for me, the whole situation was funny.
Yeah.
So actually, for you to turn around and say that the head at Harrods Redoubt Fort was quite funny would have been the sort of thing I would have said from my own personal experience. So right. So Josh, are you going to go with that as your funniest experience than the Hornet?
I'll say that's one of the scariest experiences, but at least I gave everyone else in the team a laugh by me flapping around like a headless chicken.
Well, that's what happens when you don't take everybody else's advice.
It's hard when it buzzes right by your head and touches your arm.
Fair enough. So what was your funniest experience then on an investigation?
So my funniest experience would be probably you in the church.
What, with the boar burger?
Yeah, with the boar burger.
Oh, boar burger again. I think the boar burger is going to be one of the most popular outtakes that we've had so far.
Yeah, that one's going to be definitely pungent.
He was so serious, wasn't he? He was like, "Oh, what's that smell?"
He thought it was paranormal to start off with until I piped up.
That was the best. That was the best part of that, because Peter Ling just sounded so confused. Like he was just like, "What is going on?"
Well, if we put it more into context, if a paranormal investigator knows that if they smell anything nasty or sulphurous, that could be the sign of something nasty coming through. Well, afterwards, we actually talked about it, and Peter Ling actually did say that it smelled sulphurous, like there was sulphur in it. And that's why he said what he said. He went, "Oh my God, what is that smell?" And that was purely because of the boar burger.
Oh dear.
Yeah, something was definitely trying to leave your body.
That was demonized, yeah.
I reckon that was. So, yeah, I think that was quite a very good giggle, that one. Okay, so coming to the last of the general questions, because Sam's going to take over with some TBP related questions for you in a second. So,
I am.
Out of all of the paranormal locations that you know of in the world, Josh, first, please, on this one, what would be the most likelihood of going to a location that's on your bucket list that you haven't gone to yet?
I would probably want to do the Shining Hotel, because that's got a history to it, and it will be pretty good to investigate there.
And it's got two twins that come out of a blood-soaked lift.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
That would definitely take over as being my scariest night.
Do you know what? If TBP didn't have to worry about paying for locations, like we didn't want to look at how much it was going to cost us to get to place, so money was no object. I would love to go to that hotel and walk in through the door and go, "Here's Johnny."
Yeah.
Just to see what their reaction was.
Yeah, just to see what would happen.
That would have to be part of an outtake.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. By that lift. It'd have to be the lift, because I think that lift where the blood comes out is probably one of the most iconic parts of that hotel in the film.
Yeah.
So I could stand on the other side of that door, and as the door slides open, I go, "Here's Johnny." Okay then. And Kim, what would be your favourite location to go to that's on your bucket list?
Well, I'm afraid I've got to be greedy, because there's two for me. And the first one is the Queen Mary, and the second one is Waverley Hills Sanatorium.
Okay. I've heard about was it the Queen Mary is doing paranormal investigations? I think it's been sold off, hasn't it?
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, I had heard, I think it was last week or the week before, it had been sold off. And then I think it was last week I'd heard there's going to be 3 films that are going to be filmed on there.
Oh.
So it could be that the ship has been sold off to a production company very similar to 30 East Drive. And they're going to be spending their time filming on there.
And they'll rig it up.
Well, it depends on what sort of film they're going to be filming. I don't know whether I had heard it was going to be a horror series of films. So I suppose in a way, a nice place to film a supernatural film on a haunted ship. I mean, I agree with you. I'd love to go back, go over to the Queen Mary, and have a look around where the swimming pool is, because that to me is, I've sort of done a little bit of research on the Queen Mary, and on more than, I think there has been about 17 or 18 reports of the little girl that goes around by the swimming pool.
Your little wet footprints.
And the wet footprints, the noises in the locker room, the figure on the slide. You know, there's been so many reports of that girl sitting there, and that's before a certain TV show went there.
Yeah.
You know, so I would love to actually spend some time and actually sitting there. I could sit in there all night and just wait for it, you know, and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting, location. But I wouldn't mind going to some of these places that really you wouldn't have thought of to see whether they're haunted. Not so much because they are haunted, but just to see if they're haunted. Like for instance, I know that's Taj Mahal's not really that old as such, but somewhere like the Taj Mahal or areas of like the Great Wall of China.
Or shrines and things like that.
Yeah, and things like that, just to see whether they are, you know, I mean, every country has its own ghost stories. We tend to be more, have more knowledge of our own ghost stories or ghost stories of countries that broadcast the fact, like in the States. You know, countries that actually broadcast the fact that this place is haunted, like Waverly Hills and Queen Mary, the Shining Hotel, and all of those. Because it's been broadcast, we know all about it. So most people would be like, I want to go there. I want to investigate that place. I want to investigate that place. I like to go or want to go to the places that haven't been investigated to see whether they are haunted, not because they've got a reputation of being haunted.
I just want to say hello to Beatrice because she's a viewer which has never viewed before. So hi, Beatrice. Nice to see you.
Good evening, Beatrice.
Hi.
Hi, Beatrice.
Highgate Cemetery.
Yes,
Highgate.
I've been there, and I've done one of my team who's called Darren. He used to work there, and he said it's extremely haunted there, and he doesn't care.
Yeah, they've got all that there.
Yeah.
The crypts under
yeah, all the crypts.
Yeah.
But don't they I had heard that they don't allow paranormal investigations there.
I don't
They
know,
used to. They used to until there was vandalism, and then they stopped it, unfortunately.
The thing is that is quite prolific with some places, is that, you know, they will turn around and go, well, you're more than welcome to. But the second they get a bit of vandalism, that's when they draw the line to it.
And ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, places like Harrods Redoubt Fort, they may get to that stage because in the cells there's original sketchings and etchings into the wall on those cells. And we noticed it when we were there last. You know, they said to us, please stay away from the walls, try not to mark them or scratch them because there's original etchings in those walls.
Yeah.
When you get into the cells, you look in, there's Del Boy Was Here in 97, and you're like, well, that ain't original.
Yeah.
You know, and if that sort of thing keeps going, they'll just turn around and they'll shut that door and say, you're not allowed to go in the cells because you lot or people before you have damaged those walls.
Yeah, it's not
exactly.
And it's a shame
because
it ruins it for everybody else. So, but yeah, it's one of those things. But I think, you know, it's likes of the Queen Mary, Waverly Hills, but you get things like the Edinburgh Vaults and stuff like that. You know, all these places, they've been investigated to death. So many people visit these places. You know, it's got like tours during the day and then paranormal events at night time, and they've been investigated to death so many times.
Poor spirits can't get a rest.
Yeah, and I'd just like to go to somewhere and go, oh my God, you know, look at this place, it's amazing, but is it haunted?
Yeah, I think that the Highgate Cemetery would have been a good one.
It would have been. Yeah. I have got one cemetery which we can do, actually, which I may put on for either the upcoming episodes we're doing or the next ones for next year, because that again is an amazing place, and they have a goth festival there every year, and all of them have said that they've witnessed the same thing happening there. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to be careful with cemeteries, because some cemeteries are closed at night, which then makes it illegal for you to go into.
Yeah.
You are then classed as trespassing, and there is a lot of groups out there on Facebook and YouTube that have gained access into cemeteries, and they've been there unlawfully.
Yeah,
and they don't realise that until they escape the cemetery and the police are standing outside waiting for them.
Yeah,
so,
I would have
you know,
to definitely get the permission of the groundsman there, because he doesn't in particularly like people going in there unless they've got permission to do things like that. So I'd have to ask him.
It's usually the groundsman or the parish councils that are responsible for the grounds. So it's usually the parish council itself, which is obviously in direct relation to the church.
Luckily,
there are kids out there that just ignore that and they walk in. But there are some places, you know, you go into areas, and a cemetery nearby to me in Wivenhoe, just down the road from Colchester, they don't have gates. They've got walls, and they're low-lying walls as well, so you could just step over them all. So it's an open cemetery, the old and new cemetery, because there's a road that divides the two. Now, the old cemetery is really, really creepy, because it's something like 200 years old, the old cemetery, and it's all overgrown. They don't really keep it that well. And you can go in there, and there's like a huge cross as you walk in, and it sort of veers off, it splits off into two. And there's this huge cross that stands in the middle. And there's always been this rumour that underneath that cross is the exit to one of the tunnels that go from the bottom of the village right the way up to this cemetery, which is about 3/4 of a mile long. But it's all uphill. And it goes from a church at the bottom of the village all the way up to the cemetery.
Yeah.
And I was always fascinated by that. And we were like, no, you can't go in there at night because it's all locked off. And I'm like, well, you can't. You know, you can't say it's locked off, because you can just hop over the wall. So you have to be careful as to you know, the location that you're going to. Are they going to give you the permission? You know, unlike with Dunwich.
Luckily, I've got good contact, so we're good.
Yeah, but with Dunwich, there was no issue at Dunwich whatsoever, because the chapel in the Leper Church, that was all open. The church grounds itself was all open. You could come and go as you pleased, and no one batted an eyelid. And there's the difference. If the gates are open, that's fine. But if the gates are shut,
you're not trespassing.
Exactly.
It was like us at Upward. If it's open to the public and you're able to get in, that's not trespassing. Yep. It's only trespassing if you break in.
The weird part was, even the church was open, weren't it, Kim?
Yeah.
When we first did our walk round to have a look around the place, we actually were able to actually open the church door, and we walked in and stood inside the church, and there was no one there.
Lovely.
That's the same. That's a bit the same with the place where I want to do Harrow on the Hill, because they keep that place open at all times. And the guy that owns that parish, as long as you give a donation, it can be as small as just £1. As long as you give a donation, he's more than happy for you to be in there.
I mean, that was the thing, wasn't it? We slip a £5 in the donation box on the way out, because, you know, there has got to be one hell of a lot of trust to be able to open that door and just leave it open to allow anybody, you know, any Tom, Dick and Harry could have walked.
Yeah.
Churches always had their doors open, didn't they? Because anybody was welcome. But they can't now because of vandalism. No.
And yet
because of people taking drugs and all of that in there.
Yeah.
But you see, with Dunwich, it's a very small village. Well, I say it's a village. It's not. It's more of a hamlet now. But I would have still, you know, if I was part of the parish church council, I'd be locking that door, because knowing what people are like nowadays, You wouldn't know who was going to be going through that door, and you wouldn't know till the following morning that they'd been there.
Yeah.
So to actually leave those doors open, leave that door unlocked without anybody inside that church to make sure the church was going to be safe, and allow five random people just to walk in out of the blue, you know, it sort of, I don't know, it dumbfounded me. I just couldn't believe that level of trust.
Yeah, there's a few places that I know that are like that I want to investigate with you guys, but I'm going to have to let the guy know in advance, so then he can help us to sort of like make sure that everything that they can trust us, basically. And that will be fine.
I don't know if any of you guys follow him. There's a guy on YouTube and Instagram called Chills.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Dylan is chilling. It sounds a bit like Forrest Gump when he does his videos. But he did one with an English team. He did a video where there was this English team went into a cemetery. There was 3 of them, and they sort of slid in through the fence. So they had gained entry illegally. The actual cemetery had closed, and they are walking around these graves, and out the corner of the camera, you see this black figure walking towards them along the footpath, and it scares the living daylights out of them. So they sort of run out the way, and then later on, they're walking around the cemetery again after this black figure's walked straight past them.
This is important.
And as they're walking around, they see like it looked in the distance. It looked like it was a tent, actually in the cemetery with some candles outside. And you hear this Dylan is chilling guy say, were they doing some sort of ritual or anything? But these 3 decided they weren't going to hang around, and so they scarpered and tried to squeeze back through the fence again. And you think, well, you know, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. So if something does go wrong, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
And who would be the one that got done for it at the end of it, because they shouldn't have been there?
No, it would have been the guy.
So, but, you know, the problem is sometimes with videos like that, you have to, it's a bit of tongue in cheek, you know. Some of them are so obvious that they're set up that they're just designed to try and sort of give you the chills, and that's about it. So it's weird though with cemeteries though, because some people go, oh no, cemeteries won't be haunted because it's hallowed ground. What's hallowed ground got to do with anything? My simple answer to it is when people say to me, how can a cemetery be haunted? It's hallowed ground. I turn around and I say, well, how can there be the hallowed ghost, the Holy Ghost?
Yeah,
the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, you've got the Holy Spirit. So obviously, in the Bible there is ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I can remember rightly,
the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, but they changed that to the Holy Spirit.
If you look in the Bible, Old and New Testament, you will find that Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, or Ghost, or Spirit appears something like 266 times.
Yeah.
So to turn around and say cemeteries and churches can't be haunted because it's hallowed ground goes against what the Bible is telling you.
Yeah.
Simple answer. So if anybody turns around to me and says, can a church or cemetery be haunted? Why not? I bet you the Vatican is probably haunted.
Yeah, I reckon.
That'd be a mint place to go and investigate. Even the vaults downstairs. I'd love to investigate the vaults. That'd be brilliant. Find out all those little secrets that the Pope's been hiding away.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Don't have to be haunted, does it?
No. So, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass it over to you now for the last little segment.
I feel real happy right now.
the TBP questions.
Yeah, so my first question, I'm going to put this first to Kim and then again to Josh. Why did you decide that TBP was for you, Kim?
Because you're a genuine friendly group and there's no gimmicks. There is absolutely no gimmicks. And I feel comfortable with you guys.
Oh, thank you.
And you've worked with me for ages as well.
Well, yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
You like a pair of old slippers, Wayne? Slippers.
Yeah, so the reason why I decided, guys, tonight, for the viewers that are still watching, to ask a few things about TBP is basically because of the fact that some people in the past, you know, because I decided that I'm going to share this to other groups, and a lot of the time people do say, well, how do people really know that what you do is 100% truthful? And I will always refer them and say, go to our group and go and look at our live feeds, because a lot of what you see that goes on at that time is then in a live feed and has also been shared into the episode as well. So what you see on the episode will also be there. Yeah. So what you see is what you get. And we have not had, and I think Wayne has said this before, we have not really had any, I think we may have had only one commenter in the past that has said anything against us being real.
All right.
No, I don't. To be honest, I don't think we've had. We haven't
had any negativity.
No, to my knowledge, I've only ever had one person actually question how we do what we're doing, regards to the live feeds and the episodes. And so I've had to explain it to them in a bit of detail as to the fact that while we're recording for the episode, we are currently doing a live feed. So that if you find something in the episode that you enjoyed and thought, wow, that bit was amazing, you can then go onto the Facebook group and find the live feed for that entire section, which could be 3 hours long. Yeah, on the episode,
you can
only
go
be
through
15
it and
minutes.
find it.
And you can sit there and watch the entire 3 hours from beginning to end and know that that was a live, unedited feed.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And
like
the
he
best
said,
part
what you see is what you get.
Yeah, the best parts of that live feed will be in the episode. So you'll see the same parts.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's basically like watching a live episode throughout the night, condensed into 45, 50 minutes, maybe a little bit over an hour. So you have the choice of either watching the edited section or the entire investigation. You know, and you don't have to watch it live on the night either. You'd be able to watch almost live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you can watch the playback the following day during daytime if you're sitting around instead. Oh, look, you know, they did a live last night. I'll recap on that and I'll watch that. So we cover both angles, or all angles, I should say.
Exactly. And I ask the same thing now to you, Josh, as well. What made you think of joining TBP?
I joined because then it probably means more locations and more opportunities to experience in the paranormal, and also, like, I know Wayne and I knew him before obviously the paranormal stuff, and so and then met the lovely Sam. So
bless you. Thank you. Even though nobody knows that Mark usually exists because he's just there somewhere, but nobody ever sees him. They just hear him laughing from afar. It's great. Just like, where is he? Like,
just the team
could be anywhere. It's a bit worrying. So the next question that I have, which I'll give over to Josh first this time, is what was your best experience with us so far?
My best would probably be of the first time seeing you and Marcus. That was probably one of the best. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Was there a reason why, or was it just meeting new people was cool?
No, just that you and me clicked. So which is pretty cool.
I agree. So. Yeah, we did, because I think we go through the very similar situations when we're on investigations. Me and Josh, we tend to really understand one another and what we're both going through, so we help each other out as well,
which kind of helps.
Yeah, because sometimes we both get freaked out at the same time, and that's hilarious to watch in our episode. Especially at Rock and Control Tower. And I remember where there was a moment whereby we both fell over at the same time. Do you remember? We both got pushed at the same time.
I can't remember that part.
Yeah, it's weird. It was in the episode as well. And I'm like, did you just get pushed? And you were like, yeah. And we were like, great, fabulous.
The thing is as well, though, is that obviously when TBP first started, there was, I think, 15, 16 people. But not everybody gelled. And over the last 2 years now, year and a half, 2 years, we've sort of experienced new situations with new team members, and we've sort of wound down, so we didn't sort of have as many members, but at the same time we've brought new members in, and it turns out now that the team we've got now has gelled a lot more, and that's more important, is the fact that the team has gelled so well and so quickly. You know, obviously with me, Kim and Josh and Ellen, we all knew each other for eons beforehand. But we all sort of, in a sense, we all knew each other sort of through the love of the paranormal. And so we got to know each other's likes and dislikes via messaging through Facebook and things like that. So to actually come together, and it allows everybody to gel together as a team, it makes it more of a family. Yeah,
definitely.
And I think that family is pretty much complete as it is now. Simply because we all know each other, we've all got our little quirks and our eccentricities and eccentricities, whatever you call it. You know, so
contribute.
I'm so sorry to hear whistling. There's just my cockatiel in the background.
Yeah,
that's all right, no problem.
And I think
we've got somebody here who's actually come through the YouTube live feed, by the way, guys. And it says, it's from Cody, and it says, Kim's mind is sensitive to energies.
Very true. Yeah, I agree.
Now, 100%. Facebook user, I think that might be Lou or Reg.
Yeah, because I was like, who is this? So I've literally typed Blackpool user, who are you?
Yes.
I don't know who you are,
user is probably Lou or Reg.
Hi, Lou or Reg. I'm very sorry.
Reg upset me the other day because he did a live from the lounge room at his bed and breakfast in Blackpool. And he reckoned it was something to do with Derek Akora had pushed him in the direction of a spiritualist church that would help him cleanse the negative energy from his bed and breakfast. And I was quite upset by that, because it was me that told him to go to a certain spiritualist church, not Derek Akora's website or fan page. It was me.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble.
It's my turn to make jokes now. It wasn't Derek Akora's Facebook group, it was mine.
I'm going to ask the same question then, the exact same question. What was your best experience with TBP then, Kim?
I suppose a bit like Josh, when we first met, it does seem like it was like an instant sort of connection.
Yeah.
The only way I can really describe it. I do feel at home with you all.
Thank you. That's great.
I mean, I've never done anything like this before, and you've managed to get on a live feed, and I'm, you know.
I was going to say you're coming across as perfectly natural.
It's like you've done this a million times. You're really good, both of you.
No, beside my belly is going up and down with the butterflies.
Oh, bless you.
But like we said, you get used to it. You know, in a sense, it's no different to talking to each other on video calls. It's just the difference is there's a little red box in the corner that says live.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe watching your P's and Q's and whatever's. But other than that, that's it. So it's no different to a normal video call. But
No.
I think along like what Kim was saying is the fact that, you know, it's being made to feel welcome. And I think that has been the biggest thing, where every team member has been made to feel welcome, and we all talk to each other and we all get on with each other. And I don't know many teams that just do social jollies either.
No, like we will all meet up. We'll go to Wayne's for a barbecue, or they've come to my house, you know, to do. We've had an investigation at my house or something, and I've just got out all of the biscuits that I can't eat because I'm intolerant to them. So everyone else eats them for me, which is brilliant. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Right. And also, I feel I can be myself around you as a team, and I don't. If I pick up on anything in the past, I used to sort of not say anything.
Yeah, but you feel now you can come forward.
Like, okay, like, go away.
Yeah.
And I think also the thing is, what helps make a difference is when you run a public events company as well, you in essence haven't got a choice. You've got to deal with the public.
Yeah.
So
you've got to be publicly orientated. It was, Reg.
I put this up specifically. I put this up specifically for you, Reg. Sorry, Wayne, but just checking if you remember, still your number one fan. I'm like,
Reg is a lovely guy. And no, Reg is a lovely guy. And if anybody goes to Blackpool, get in contact with Reg at the Miramar Bed and Breakfast. It is an amazing, and it is haunted. And it's close to the beach.
I have a couple more questions, but then they're very short. So, oh no, I don't. I have one. It just looked like two, so it's even shorter than I thought. Brilliant. Look at me not being able to know what I'm doing as usual. So finally, to end tonight on a high note, what are you looking forward to getting back to doing the most in May when we go back to Dunwich? And that is aimed towards Josh first.
Oh,
seeing each other. Seeing each other again.
Yeah, seeing each other again.
That's what we're doing now, isn't it? I can see you.
I mean, we can see each other, but maybe we'll be able to also talk by then.
Yeah, I mean, physically touch each other too.
Yeah, instead of like elbowing each other. Hello.
Physically touching.
It's a bit weird, but
I'm a bit worried about that.
Me too, but you know.
That's not truth beyond paranormal. That's truth beyond perverts. What's going on?
Yeah, it's all said with love. It's all said with love, I promise, live viewers. So I also ask you the same question as well, Kim. What are you looking forward to getting back to when we go to Dunwich in May?
Getting out and investigating as a team again. I can't wait.
Me neither. I can't wait. I want to go now, but I can't.
But we hopefully we've got one. Oh no, that's after May, isn't it? July. Yeah.
July.
Yeah, so we've got May. So we're going back for a episode of Revisited at Dunwich. We're also in June going to do a revisited episode before we move out of my flat, but we're also going to include the haunted forest and also the fields as well, where people have claimed that they have seen fey creatures there. And we also had Wayne said that we may also go to one of the local cemeteries that's near to here to go and look for the ghost of Adam as well. I say ghost of Adam, he's actually here, so we don't need to look for him. But to see if we find his grave, because he said that he was very excited by that when we mentioned it.
Oh,
so
bless him.
Yeah, he wants us to go find him, so we're going to go and try and do that. And I've also amazingly got some amazing new locations for you guys as well to investigate, hopefully by then. So, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do that.
we've got the public events will be starting again in July.
In July.
And the first one's going to be Harrods Redoubt Fort on the 10th.
So if you guys want to go do a public investigation with all of us, we'll all be there. So come along to that. Get in contact with Wayne or Kim here, and they will point you in the right direction for that.
Yep. That's Harrods Redoubt Fort in Essex. So it's a very haunted location. It's a very strange place. It's a bit of a weird place. I describe it as a donut in a crater.
Yeah, that's a good way of explaining it, really.
That's all you can describe it as. A concrete donut in a crater, because that's what it is in essence. But it's
a really cool place, though. I love the place. I thought even for such a small place, it had so many bits, so many areas to investigate.
Yeah, and there's so many energies in different rooms, different places you go.
And it's going to be a week of total severe paranormal hangover for me, because I'll be doing Harrods Redoubt Fort on the 10th. And then on the following week, I've got to go up to Skegness for the paranormal convention at the Skegness, where I'm guest speaking. So it's going to be a long week. I'll get home on the Sunday and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to bed. But so that should be quite good, because I've got a stall there as well as doing the guest speaking. I've got going to have a stall there as well to sell me books, so it should be quite good.
So anybody that is from up north in Skegness, check that out and go and see the TBP presenter and go buy a book.
Yeah, it's it's the EAPI team that are running the paranormal convention. So you have to go to their Facebook page, to see about tickets to get in there. But I'm technically guest speaking as Wayne Seaton presents Spooky Ori.
Brilliant.
That's what it's been billed as, rather than Truth Beyond Paranormal presenter. So, but it will. Truth Beyond Paranormal will be mentioned.
Yeah, brilliant. Good one. Good one.
You've got to plug it, haven't you?
Haunted Roses, Essex Paranormal.
Yeah. Everybody, everything will get mentioned. Hi, Lou.
All one big happy company family now.
Hello is. Oh, I was like, hello is everyone. That doesn't make any sense. Hello, how is everyone? So that is Louise Roberts. So the Facebook user is Louise.
Hi, Lou.
Yeah, well, that's Lou and Reg.
Lou and Reg. Cool.
Yeah.
Hello, guys. Hello, both of you.
They're the ones that own the Miramar Bed and Breakfast in Blackpool.
Right. Maybe I'll go up there one weekend.
Well, I mean, Reg keeps telling me off because I haven't been up there.
Yeah.
Let's make it a Truth Beyond Paranormal get together. That would be amazing.
Well, I was when we go up there, I'll be 2 years August. We went to Corfu last year, which was the inspiration for cricket. And then the year before we were at Miramar, we did an investigation in there, and I did the Lights Out challenge. And it's not easy to do. There's only a few people have been able to complete it, and that's with all the lights out in the entire bed and breakfast, is to go from the living room out into the hallway and up all flights of stairs to the very top of the bed and breakfast and back down again without the lights on.
Right.
So it's literally total darkness all the way up to the top. The top floor seems to be sort of more active than anywhere else, apart from in the kitchen downstairs. But it's an amazing place. Did an investigation in there with Reg, and it's so weird. You know, there's things going on in there that sort of make you think again and make you wonder. And I just love it in there. It's really cool. I mean, we're all sitting there as a
do an investigation.
Yeah, we need to, because it's weird, because when we were there, we were all one family staying in the same room. There was nobody else on our floor, yet we had people running past our front door.
Oh.
That's
and
weird.
I asked Ethan to go and see who it was because there was a knock on the door. And when he opened the door, there was no one there. And I'm like, I'm so glad I got my son to answer the door.
Oh.
So Reg has actually said, "Bring the team, Wayne." So he said, "Bring the team."
I mean, we've got Reg's, obviously the B&B, but Reg said about the Heritage Walk there as well, which is a nice little haunted location. And I had been, I was going to wait until we all met up to do the next lot of filming, and I was going to have a chat with you about it. I know Blackpool's quite a distance away. It's, it's a 6-hour drive from where I am. So it'd be a case of sorting out something where most of the team can either get there or, get them a majority of us there.
Yeah, there's ways
to have that down there.
Even if we go in one car.
Well, we won't fit in one car. We'd need a minibus.
Or if we go in like 2 cars. And then you can share the driving.
Share the driving.
Share the petrol.
Yep.
Yeah, it's more than possible. It's definitely something that me and Mark would be real interested in. So we will definitely have a talk with Louise and Reg about that. That's for certain. Yeah.
I have to be careful though, because obviously I've got 4 kids here, and currently I've got pending appointments for the Royal Air Force, so I have to be careful as to my availability. So.
Yeah, of course, it has to. It has to kind of fall in line with the best timings, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want it affecting my officers' training,
No, exactly. I agree.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll sort something out with Reg and Lou, because Reg has always said,
Bless his heart. He's also said we would put you up for free, which is very kind of him. Thank you so much, Reg. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And his breakfasts are to die for.
Oh God,
Reg does a marvelous breakfast. It's amazing.
Isabelle would love to meet us all, says Lou.
Now Isabelle, lovely little girl. You can hear while you're sort of sitting downstairs. You can hear she wore calipers, and you can hear them. And she sort of frequents the kitchen area. And one night we're all in the we'd come back from being out for the evening, and we were in the lounge area, and something caught our eye in the kitchen, and their kitchen door is literally a glass panel. And we literally run into the kitchen, and we're like, what the hell was that? And we're looking, and we could see things in the window, and yet when we opened the back door, there was nothing there. We'd go back in the kitchen, there'd be something by a fridge, and it was just kept kicking off. And we were like 3/4 of an hour trying to find out where it was. And she was playing with us. Every time we went into one bit, she'd go into another bit. And we'd go into the other bit, she'd come back into that bit. And we were going backwards and forwards around the kitchen area trying to find her.
Oh,
brilliant.
Play a game with her.
I mean, but that's the thing. There wasn't anything, because originally Reg and Lou had negative energy in there. There was something nasty in there, and it didn't want people around. And this was years ago. Reg had said to me, is there anything I can do? And I pushed him in the direction of a spiritualist church that was in the area to go around and cleanse the place. And so they went round there. They said to me, we're going to go around, we're going to cleanse the place. We just want you to go away, come back feeling positive, with positive energy, with no negatives, and things will be fine. They went off, they went round, they blessed everywhere and whatnot. As soon as they come back, Reg said to me, you can feel the difference straight away. It is so much more positive, and the negativity isn't anywhere near as bad as it was.
Where's Josh gone?
I don't know. He was laughing or something, and he laughed at something, then just disappeared.
Oh no!
His phone probably cut out. Battery probably died.
Oh, possibly.
I've had to slap mine on charge straight away.
See, I've got my phone on a charging thing, so I'm all right.
You don't want it to be later this year, Sam?
No.
It needs to be when
Oh,
it's
he's
warmer.
back.
Blackpool in the winter is no go.
Josh is back.
Right, I'm adding him back in.
Hey,
I'm not
sorry.
being nasty. I'm not being nasty to Lou and Reg, but we experienced it. You know, you go in October, you might as well be an Eskimo.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do it. We'll do that for like when it's warmer.
It's got to be. It's got to be sort of like late summertime,
Round about
Yeah,
August.
fair enough.
August into September. You go any later in the year, and it's going to start getting cold and it's windy. I mean, even in August when we were there, we had some really bad weather there, didn't we? When we went to Blackpool,
Yeah.
some really nasty weather. We got kicked off the seafront.
Oh.
We weren't allowed onto the seafront because the wind was that bad. They cordoned it off and said you can't go on the seafront. No vehicles going down there or nothing.
Oh God.
Okay, so maybe it's best then to do it for like August, September then.
It's got to be more summery, you know, end of summer towards winter, towards autumn rather than autumn towards winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking anyway, because you know, up north anytime in winter would be a bit shit.
So Reg, if you're still watching, we're going to try and sort something out, and we'll get up to see you as soon as possible. Unless
Yeah,
Reg gets his camper van sorted. If Reg and Stu, RNS Paranormal team, if they get their camper van sorted and they can get down here by July,
come on down. Come on down for July if you get things sorted out.
do
Yeah.
Harrods Redoubt Fort with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's providing he gets his camper van sorted.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we've got 3 viewers at the moment. Is there anything that you guys want to ask Josh or Kim while they're still here before we end this broadcast for tonight? Because we're getting on for near enough 2 hours now. So
Right. Lewis just commented about September for illuminations and fireworks. Problem is the fireworks is going to, I don't know, actually no, because the fireworks ain't going to be going on at 1 o'clock in the morning, are they?
No. Well, it shouldn't be.
But it's Blackpool illuminations, so it may be busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe, I think it would definitely be either an August or early September sort of thing. Something like that would be a good idea.
We'll sort that out with Reg and Lou anyway, but it'd be nice if we could all be on the top floor, because then that we're in the same area.
Yeah, if we can do that, Reg and Lou, then we will make arrangements between all of us.
We'll sort something out with
go
them.
and do that. Yeah, definitely.
So okay, we've done our questions and Sam's done her questions.
Yeah.
Now we would like viewers' questions.
Yeah, we've got 5 viewers. So 5 viewers that are there. Oh, we've got one here already from Mick. So I'm putting that one up now.
Yeah, we had that one earlier on, but Mick wasn't online at the time. So
Me, it's Dowsing Rods. Definitely.
And for me it's myself. Like, I pick up on things, so yeah, I rely on my own self.
Yeah, those 2 are quite good ones to go for, because, you know, like Wayne has said in the past as well, it's really, really good to be able to not use anything that is basically like an app on a phone or a piece of equipment that's electronic. You just rely on something that is, you know, natural based, easy to use. And, you know, just using stuff like that is so much better, I think, in an investigation than all of the other stuff that people use these days usually.
Yeah.
Thank you, Louise, for saying, yeah, we'll sort it out. That's brilliant. We will do that. So is there any other questions from you guys before we leave? You've got another like 5-10 minutes or so before I'm going to cut the broadcast. So if there's, from the 3 viewers that we've got, if there's any other questions, make sure that you get them in now before we end this discussion for tonight. And now we're just going to wait here for like a bunch of idiots waiting
Yeah,
on
we're just
people
gonna.
to.
Well, we just sit here and chat amongst ourselves.
Yeah. So Reg, again, we have touched upon this already. Wedge. Who's Wedge?
Wedge.
Reg. Wedge. That's gonna be when I see him now. You do realise that I'm gonna call him Wedge. Like it's gonna be in the episode.
Sam, you do realise this. You do realise this is Reg we're talking about. He is setting us up.
Oh, well, damn you, Wedge!
Yeah, the team's scariest moment wasn't necessarily the place where the two young lads came out and we ran away, because we didn't run away. We backed off for health and safety reasons because we had a member of the public with us. But yes, in essence, it was quite scary because we didn't know what the hell it was.
On the live view. Anybody that views this now, this is me saying that Wedge, that I've now called him instead of Reg, is actually just pulling our legs now.
But the thing was though that before that happened, we had been walking towards the building, and me and you, Sam, we had seen a black shadow run from the building into the woods.
Yeah, and
so that
Joe
had already set the atmosphere up.
Yeah, Joe had seen that as well live, and she had said that she'd seen it as well. So for all we knew at that moment,
already
it could have all gone Pete Tong.
Yeah, we were quite sort of concerned by this black shadow, and then obviously once we'd got in there, and we heard the footsteps and that upstairs, and then saw the torches, we had to back away because unless you know exactly what it is that's up there, do you take the risk when you've got a member of the public with you?
We had somebody that's never been in a paranormal investigation before, guys. So
of course we did back off. We didn't run away. We backed off. And surprise, surprise, these two lads.
I wasn't running anywhere. I wasn't running anywhere. I was falling down a drain pipe.
They weren't exactly your normal kids either. They were older teenagers or early 20s. They both looked like they were smacked out their head.
Oh, dear.
And they disappeared and then came back again. And they just didn't make any sense. And just were basically being nosy. And so for the interest of safety towards the member of the public that was with us, we made a conscious decision between us to walk away.
So Louisa said, what is the witching hour and why is it called that?
The witching hour is 3 a.m. It's not midnight like most people think. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. They've got various timescales, haven't they? You know, they say witching hour, but it's 2 hours long, or it's witching hour between 12 and 1, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 3 and 4.
They say 3 a.m. because that's when the veil is supposed to be thinnest.
Yeah.
Easy for the spirit to come over to us.
Which is strange because usually by 3 o'clock in the morning we're all going home.
Yeah. We're like, bye-bye.
Your average person that's asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning is when you're in your deepest sleep.
Yeah.
And that is usually as well. It's been proven that is usually when the subconscious wakes up, and it's when you get the most vivid dreams and when things happen the most, when you actually connect thoroughly with the veil as well. Yeah.
But for any decent paranormal investigator out there, 3 o'clock in the morning is about the time when a paranormal investigator may just be thinking about going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
That's when activity started. When you're packing up to go home and you start getting activity.
Yep.
I think that has been one of the most annoying things that has.
All of your stuff back out.
Yeah.
When I've had it before at Harrods Redoubt Fort. We've been there. We've done the investigation. We've had a few things happen throughout the course of the night. And then you get back to the hub and the guests go, and then someone turns around and says, "Oh, I've left a camera inside the prison cells." And you're like, "Right, I'll go and get it for you." And I've gone back and the atmosphere has changed completely.
Yeah.
You know, you've had people in there throughout the course of the night, and you might have had the dowsing rods moving, you might have had a trigger object go off, or something's happened. But then all of a sudden, you go back on your own, and it's like the guests that were with you were a comfort blanket. And now all of a sudden, this comfort blanket has been removed.
And it seems quite menacing.
The atmosphere has changed, and it feels quite negative.
Yeah,
and you're like, the amount of times I've gone into those prison cells at Harrods Redoubt Fort, and I've felt someone's watching me, and I've gone through into each cell, and I've gone, right, okay, nothing in here, nothing in there, nothing in there. But I feel that every time I go into each one, it's watching from a different one.
Yeah.
You're looking for the naughty boys, aren't you, Wayne?
Yeah. Yeah, looking for the naughty boys. But that's because you're on your own and your comfort zone has disappeared.
Yeah.
But you know the atmosphere has changed, and therefore you seem to be a bit more wary, but at the same time you're being cautious because you don't know what's going to happen.
Well, you guys, just to let you know that you are now all officially live on about 18 different pages right now, because they've all been approved.
Wow.
So yeah, people are watching from probably all over the world right now.
Oh, no. I hadn't told you that.
It's okay because we're ending now.
I was going to say, we've just gone out to 18 channels all over the world, and now all of a sudden we're saying goodbye.
Yeah, we're saying goodbye now, but at least they can watch it from behind, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will close this channel for tonight now, guys. Thank you very, very much for all of your input and for viewing so far. And we thank Kim and Josh as well for being part of this team and making TBP what it is today, because it has been an amazing experience for me, Mark and Wayne, to have both Josh and Kim as at the Haunted Roses and Essex Paranormal with us on our team.
Thank
you. Thank you guys so much. Sorry, what was that?
I'm honoured to be with you.
Oh, thank you very much, Kim. Oh, yay. Love all around. Okay, guys. So, good night, Lou. And good night to you
good
as
night,
well,
Lou and Rich.
And good night, all other Facebook users that are watching right now. And thank you very much for viewing. And we will be back, hopefully, with another live with possibly one of our other team members that you guys have not seen in a very long time. Hopefully they will oblige, but I've got to still speak to them about things a little bit, so we'll see what happens there. But there will hopefully be a live this weekend, and then we'll be back again next week on Tuesday at the same time with another team member to meet. So yeah, hope to see you all then. Have a great rest of the week, guys, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
good night, all.
Good night.
Bye from the. Is that a cockatoo that you've got there? Is that a cockatoo?
No, cockatiel.
All three.
Cockatiel.
Cockatiel. Okay, it's a cockatiel. I've got to get this right, otherwise I'm going to get a slap from Josh. Okay.
You've got an outtake there, haven't we? Have you got a cock or
we
two?
Really do.
Oh, God.
What a good way to end this live feed. Damn. Well, that's gone out. That's now gone out to 18 channels as well, so that's good. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.